my lovelies, and welcome to the spiritual world of Ravel Faye. Today is Witchy Lesson Tuesday! Yay! So go ahead and go get your journal, your book of shadows, get comfortable, and let's go over a witchy lesson. You will probably notice that I have Dexter again in here, so things may move and he may show his presence via tail or whatnot. So, but don't worry, it's just the familiar walking around. He's a very big love bug and loves being in here when I do these things. You gonna get comfortable? Okay, he's gonna get comfortable, I think. Maybe. He'll think about it. Today, we're gonna go ahead and we're actually gonna talk about psychic defense. And this will be a 5-lesson situation with psychic defense and how to really make sure that you are protected and taken care of, and that you can practice your spirituality without having to worry about anything coming at you, which is the utmost importance. Protection, when it comes to spirituality, is usually overlooked. And it is one of the things that I focus on. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, I am pulling from a very, very good book. Yet again, this is not a sponsor. I do highly recommend that if you can, grab this book. It's called The Witch's Shield by Christopher Penchak. Yet again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. And I will be going over some very, very specific things from his book, as well as actually demonstrating and having you try it with me. All right? So, like I said, this is going to be a 5-lesson setup. Because as I was going through Christopher's book, I ran into the approach that he likes to take in just developing a natural psychic defense. And I really liked it, so I wanted to make sure that it got out there. Now, what he likes to do is he, just like me, is very in touch with the elements and does a lot of things with the elements. Probably why I really like his writing style and the way he teaches. So what he's done is he's broken down these 5 techniques and has associated them with the specific elements. So what we're looking at is we're looking at earth, water, air, fire, and spirit. Anybody who is familiar with the pentagram, which I'm not currently wearing, but if you're familiar with that, a lot of those who practice the type of stuff that I practice believe that the pentagram depicts the 4 elements in spirit and is a very protective symbol. So that's where this is coming from. The very first element is usually the most, mundane, physical, which is, in this case, earth, right? And he goes into discussing what earth represents in this psychic defense technique and how he does it. Okay, so I'm going to go into that a little bit, and then I'm actually going to go into the specific description about grounding and how that's connected with the earth element. Okay? So with the five elements technique, earth, water, air, fire, spirit. So earth is equivalent to grounding, which is what we're going to talk about today. Water is equal to your boundaries. Air is flexibility. Fire is action. And spirit is compassion. And he states here, each is a path to protection, but he's found that being versed in all five gives you the greatest ability to deal with difficult situations. Many teachings will focus on just one aspect, and you've probably run into a few of those. But with our balanced approach, you gather more tools for your toolbox. And you have more skills of protection that you can call upon. And that's what this is all about, right? That's what this is all about. More tools in your toolbox. So grounding. We're going to talk about the earth one. Okay? Grounding is the earth path, and is the reason that it's the earth path is kind of like the path of roots. It's that connectedness. When we are harmed by others, we are usually not grounded to our foundations. And that's an interesting statement there. I want everybody to just kind of think about it. And any time that maybe you've had a bad day, or where you have had some major situations, and it just keeps piling it on and piling on and piling on until at a certain point you just snap because you can't take it anymore. That's what he's referring to. You're ungrounded in that respect. You can't take what's coming at you anymore, and so you're completely unbalanced and ungrounded. Okay? The foundations of our body, our own truth, and our personal power is the soil where our roots grow. If you are not in touch with your authentic self, it is easy to be disturbed or knocked off balance, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When you are centered, you are aware, and you are not easily disturbed. When you are, you easily find a rooting in your footing again. So if you get in, what he's saying is that if you are a grounded person, then yeah, something might, oh my goodness, but it's not going to knock you the same way if you're unbalanced, where it might put you on your butt, right? It might take you out of the ring, where if you're grounded and balanced, you just go, okay, I'm going to regain my footing, let's do this. All right? Let's see. Grounding is a state of being. When we are ungrounded energetically, we are not fully present in our body or surroundings. A part of us is left. When we are in shock from an accident or trauma, a part of our energy detaches from the body. Usually it comes back and becomes integrated as we come out of shock. Sometimes it doesn't. So this is kind of touch and pace on people who have had major traumas, PTSD and things like that. A part of them is gone. Part of them has completely detached. They have to come back. They are unbalanced. They're not grounded anymore. We got to get it back, right? Sometimes it leaves completely, causing what spiritualists call soul loss, and a situation in need of a deeper healing. And this is very true with people that have had major traumas, right? They need counseling. They need a therapist. They need that deeper dive. They need that help. And they need that understanding from the rest of us, right? Now, when our energy is more anchored to the body and the world, such situations are not as likely to occur, right? So, not as likely. Now, some people come into the world with a greater sense of grounding. You probably know these people. Those of you who are into astrology, Taurus comes to mind. They are very rooted, very grounded type of people, right? Very logical type of people. They're the ones that are that steadfast. You try to budge them and you're not going to get anywhere, right? And then there are people that come into the world that are more flighty, airy, kind of like the airheads, the ones that like to drift off into fantasy land, and they don't like to play in reality. Those are the two extremes, right? And one way or another, all of us fall somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and take a look and see what he says here. Yes, even if you have a great natural grounding tendency, it helps to learn how to evoke the energy on purpose whenever you need it. So this is, if we were talking just mundane things, this would be along the lines of training, trauma training. I immediately think to the medical field, where you've got ER nurses and doctors and paramedics and people who have seen just this tremendous amount of tragedy and loss and sorrow. And you sit and you talk with these people. And yeah, they acknowledge that these things have happened. But the ones that really, the ones that stay, the ones that can just continue to do it, you'll notice that it doesn't faze them like it would faze us. I know that if I was to see some horrendous accident and see the victims of said accident, it's going to hit me harder than the ER nurse. Because I've not been trained for that, and I have not prepared myself for that. Where the ER nurse has had training. They have gone through and have had training. And not only have they had training to be able to help them deal with those situations, but they also have had their time and experiences as well. So it doesn't hit them nearly as hard. Okay. Now, grounding, yeah, what is it? What is grounding? Okay. Well, it is relatively difficult to do because it does require a lot of visualization to really, really make it work well. Although there are techniques that are presented here that are a little bit easier to kind of get your foot in the door to try it. The idea behind grounding, what it really is doing, is what you're doing is you're grounding yourself down to the earth. You're centering yourself with the earth, all the way down to the core. And you are becoming steady and stable and connected. with the planet that we live on. Okay? That's the idea behind it. And when you do it, it stabilizes your energy fields, it stabilizes your energy bodies, and helps you in a lot of ways. Let's see what he says here. Now, like he said, grounding can be more difficult to do than you think. When meditating, doing spiritualistic journeying or a ritual, or even facing the stressful rigors of daily life, we encounter forces that throw us off balance. We live. That's the whole point. We're having a human experience here. So we live. You can become ungrounded if someone or something shocks you. If you take on too much energy, even if it is good energy, you can become unbalanced and ungrounded. If you are too focused on the energetic and spiritual realms, even when your visionary experience is over, you are ungrounded. If your mind is simply wandering and you feel spacey and can't bring yourself back even when you need to be present, you are ungrounded. But there are a few ways that we can handle this, all right? Once you've recognized that, hey, yeah, I'm ungrounded, what do you do next? Well, let's take a look at some of the techniques that he represents in his book, or he presents in his book, and see what will work for you. Right? Now, the first technique that he covers is called body awareness. And essentially, with body awareness, this one's relatively simple. It's a very simple one, but what you're doing is you are stretching and thinking about bringing yourself back to yourself, all right? So, as he puts it, bringing your awareness to your body is very powerful. Stretching or performing other gentle movements where you pay attention to muscle sensations brings you back into your body. Even more vigorous forms of exercise, when done in a mindful way, can facilitate this process. So, let's try it. I want you to focus on your stretching, not just do it. I want you to, in your mind, as you're stretching, be mindful of how your body's moving, how you're making the stretch, how it feels, every inch of it. And I want you to stretch your whole body. So start at the back and the shoulders. Feel how that really, really makes you feel. Get good right in there. Okay. How about the hands? Let's really stretch those hands. Feel all of those joints, all those muscles, all of them, right? Wow, your back and your head. Move around, stretch around a bit, and feel the muscles in your back. Feel your spine, feel your neck, feel the way that it moves and the way your head moves. Go all the way down to your hips. And if you're sitting like I am, do the best you can with your hips, but feel how they move. Feel how it stretches. Stretch your legs out from your chair. Twist your ankles around. Feel all of it. Feel your toes. If you're like me, you can pop your toes without using your hands. And just feel it all. Right? Doesn't that just feel nice? And you can do this technique like in the morning. Normally we kind of stretch anyway. It's a natural phenomenon. We stretch in the morning when we're waking up. If you are just more mindful about it and thinking, okay, I'm waking up, let's get this stretching going. Let's really do a good stretch and feel it and actually acknowledge the feeling of the whole stretch. You're grounding yourself. All right? Like he states, you can do other things, like you can do jogging. That's another form of activity that you can do. You can do light workouts. The idea is not to do a rigorous workout. It's not to overexert. It's just to make you aware of your physical body. All right? Be completely aware of your physical body. That's the idea of this technique. Next technique is relatively interesting. It is called earthing. So this is a way to really get in touch specifically with the earth. The idea behind this technique is to go outside. And as my child has said to me before, go outside and touch some grass, Mom. Right? So you go outside and you want to be able to interact in some way outside, whether bare feet, hands, any type of way where you're physically touching the earth. And as you're physically touching the earth, you are imagining yourself becoming connected with the earth. Right? So you will generally see people that are like down on the ground and head to the ground, whatnot. They're connecting with the earth. They're grounding themselves with the earth. This one, you can also do this with potted plants or anything that is of the earth, stones and things along those lines. You can connect that way. The idea is this, that you are physically touching and connecting yourself. All right? So I do not have a plant, but I do have a crystal ball that I can reach. One of Sybil's guards here. So this is my fluorite crystal ball. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this. And we're going to try this, all right? I'm going to give you all a minute to either go outside. If you are on a cell phone and watching this, go outside. That's going to be the easiest. If not, find your representation of earth, whether it be an actual potted plant, stone, whatever it happens to be. Okay, but it needs to be something natural. And once you come back, we're going to go ahead and do this. It's going to give you a minute to go where you need to go and get what you need to get. Welcome back. I hope everybody has or is where they need to be. So let's go ahead and let's touch completely the item or the ground, and let's imagine ourselves fully through whatever we're using, fully connecting with the earth. Okay? And as you're focusing on the connection, as you're feeling that connection, just go as far down as you can. Imagine it like an anchor taking you. All right. Now this isn't a meditation, mind you. This one is just physical connection, okay? And you should not be lightheaded or airy or anything like that afterwards. If you are, you didn't ground, okay? You need to be and will be completely and utterly present once you're done, right? So that's another way that you can ground yourself. Let's see. So, tree hugging. He mentions tree hugging, and this is technically a really good way to connect yourself with the earth. Very similar to earthing, where you're, touching the earth in some way. Tree hugging is, you're just using the tree as the conduit to it, right? You're just using the tree as the conduit. He does make mention, and I like this. Make sure that the tree that you're wanting to hug is amenable to being hugged. Some trees don't want to be. Some trees don't want you to hug them. And you want to know what? That's their right. Okay? You'll know. You'll sense it. Just be polite and ask. Okay? But it is exactly as it sounds. Just like with the earthing, you're going to hug that tree. You're going to give it the biggest bear hug you can possibly get. And you're going to do the same thing that we did with the earthing, where you are going to imagine just all of your grounding energies going all the way down, connecting with the earth through the tree. There'll probably be some energy swapping between you and the tree, which is normal, and it's fine. All of the icky, junky stuff that you might actually have, the tree is just going to use as fertilizer. Okay? The earth will use it as fertilizer. It's great for your garden. All of it. All of that stuff that you can't use, that's not good for you, the earth can use it. And it will. It will turn that into all sorts of wonderful things. So the next technique that we have here is the growing roots technique. Growing roots technique. The idea for the growing roots technique is that it's a visualization, right? So you have your feet planted on the ground, flat. Because what you're going to do is you're going to visualize roots growing out from your feet and going all the way down to the core of the earth, wrapping around the core of the earth to become one with the earth. At that point, that's where you're going to do your energy transmission with the earth. You're going to give things that you don't need, and you're going to receive things that you do need. Remember, doing this does not hurt the earth in any way. It's just great fertilizer. Okay? The earth will use it and use that energy for things that will become beautiful and wonderful. Okay? For this, I do feel that it would probably be a good idea if I did a guided meditation for you. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've got my noisemaker here. Okay. And I'm going to do a guided, a relatively quick, it's not going to be a very long one, but a kind of a guided meditation so that you get the idea and the feel of this technique. So I want everybody to plant your feet on the ground. Okay? Plant your feet on the ground. Get comfortable. Alright, once you're comfortable, and once you've got your feet planted on the ground, ready to go, I will start the guided meditation. It should be relatively quick, just to kind of give you a taste of what you're experiencing with this. Okay? Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. With each breath in and out, you feel roots growing from your feet, going down deep, deep into the earth. Every intake of breath, every exhalation of breath, make it longer. Visualize your roots breaking through the dirt, breaking through the mineral, breaking through the rock. Feel it grow. Feel it go all the way down. Deeper and deeper. When your roots finally reach the core, they wrap around and entwine themselves with the core, connecting themselves to the Earth Mother. And the Earth Mother welcomes you, embraces you, and starts to take the things from you that you don't need. And in turn, gives back things that you do need. Be sure not to take too much. If she offers you more than you can take, please refuse and let her keep it. Once you feel that the energy connection has served its purpose, you leave your roots connected to the earth. And you move back up to your full awareness. Back up the roots that you created, connected to your feet, and back to yourself. You should not feel at the end of this as if you are doing regular journeying or meditation, where you kind of get that airy head feeling. You should be well aware of your surroundings. You should be very vibrant, and you should feel like you are grounded in your reality. Okay? All right. The next technique that is discussed is sinking. It's called sinking. And it is the same idea as the roots, as the growing roots. But instead, all you're doing is you're on a beach. You're on a beach and the waves are coming in and out. There's where your energy transfer is happening. And you are sinking into the sand. Your feet are sinking into the sand, connecting yourself grounding yourself to the Earth Mother. Let's go ahead and let's go to the beach, everybody. We'll do the same thing. I will do a guided meditation, and we will just kind of do a quickie, give you the idea of what it's like and how it feels. All right. In this one, you want your feet planted again, firmly and squarely on the ground. So make sure that your feet are still planted. And remember, you are sinking into the sand. Okay? Here we go. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. As you're breathing in and breathing out, the view of a lovely beach shows itself before you. Beautiful, nice calming waves, gorgeous sand, and an absolutely gorgeous sunset. You walk out to the beach. And you stand and you ponder. And as you take in your deep breaths in and exhale them out, your feet, you notice, start to sink into the sand. This does not scare you. You know this is a connection to the Earth Mother. Each inhalation and exhalation, you sink a little bit further into the sand until you hit about waist high. You can feel your toes in the sand. You can wiggle them around and feel all of the grains of the earth on your feet. And while you're contemplating how nice the sand feels between your toes, the ocean waters come up to meet you and gently take away the things that you don't need anymore, the energies that are not serving you anymore, and replacing it with the energies that you do need. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out, you're feeling this transference of energy, you're feeling the connection with the Earth Mother. Remember not to take more than you need. And if she tries to give you too much, just politely decline and let her keep what you don't need. And once the transference is completely done, you rise back up out of the sand, and you're right on top. And you're able to walk back away from your beach to the waking world. And at this point, you should be coming back to yourself, back to the waking world yet again. Not feeling that meditation airy-fairy stuff, but feeling rock solid because you just had a communion with the Earth Mother and did an energy transference with her. You've grounded yourself. Now, the last technique is called the grounding cord. Now, this particular technique is one that I have heard many times before. It is one that is around the metaphysical circles all over the world. I see it in lots of different traditions, lots of different ways to explained on what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be enacted. But all in all, it boils down to the same elements. And the same elements are, you have a cord that comes all the way down through all of your chakras, out base root chakra, into the ground, that goes all the way down to the earth core. Much like the roots, where we got down and we had the connection with the roots. The cord, depending on what tradition you're hailing from, some of them are very adamant that it has to be this certain color cord, or it has to be a braided cord, or it has to be this, or it has to be that. For our purposes here, for what I'm teaching and what we're doing, it's whatever color you want to make it. What rings true to you? If you sit down for a second and you intuitively go, what color should my cord be? First color that pops into your head, boom, that's the color you should use. Okay? Down in the comments, I would love to hear what cord colors everybody has. I think that would be fun to see just how different we all are. Just based off of colors, right? So, I'll tell you, mine's red. Mine is a nice wine red. It is my color. So that's the cord color I'm going to use. This one, it is usually easiest if you're sitting down. Bonus points if you can sit down on some grass or be in contact specifically with the earth. But you don't have to be. You can be sitting in your chair or be in a building. It's no, never mind. Okay? And the idea is you're going into this meditative state yet again. Much like the last two meditative states, you're not getting to a point where you're going somewhere. You're very aware. You're just got this laser focus of what you're doing and where you're going, which is grounding yourself. Okay? And once you have calmed down, you've breathed in, you breathed out, and you are calm, a bit more collected, envision your cord. And just like threading a needle, you're going to envision your cord starting from your top, very top chakra, going all the way down. And it's going to go down behind you, down your spine. So you're going to feel it come down through these chakras and then come from behind on them, right here. And you're going to feel it weave its way around your spine, through your spine, all the way down until it comes out your base chakra or your root chakra, which is going to be, you're going to feel it come out your tailbone. Okay? Once it gets all the way down there, then it is going to continue to pull through, just like sewing a needle, and it is going to work its way straight down from where you're at to the Earth's core. Alright? And then it is going to wrap around the Earth's core, just like the roots did, but this time it is your cord. And it's going to wrap around the Earth's core and connect. And once it's connected, you can do your energy transference. Take what you need, give what you don't need. Don't take too much, give back what is excess. And once that transfer of energy has happened and is done, you just come right back up that cord, keeping in mind that you are fully aware of yourself. You're just coming right back up that cord, and you come back to your main body, where you are fully within your own reality. Yet again, I went ahead and I was doing it. I was doing it with you. I went straight down. I went down with my cord, and you notice I wasn't pulled away from my surroundings. I was grounded in my surroundings. I was grounded in my solid reality. And that is the point of grounding. That is the point of grounding. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the grounding lesson for this week. It is definitely a lesson that needs to be learned early, because as you start getting more and more into your metaphysical journeys and your spirituality, the more airy you might accidentally get, and you need to know how to come back to reality. You need to know how to come back to the mundane and the physical, because this is where our actual adventure is. If you would like to discuss things about the grounding techniques, please feel free to comment below. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so that you are updated and you keep up with all of these little lessons, because we're going to continue moving forward with this psychic defense lesson and the elements therein. This was lesson 1 of that. If you would like to reach me in other avenues, you can reach me at Twitter at Rainbow Spirit Work. You can also reach me via Facebook, Patreon, and my website at Rainbow Spiritual Workings. And if you will like little things to spruce up your altar space, your workroom, or just your home, visit Etsy at Rainbow Fae Magics and check out some of the cool things that we have in store for you for purchase. With all that being said, my lovelies, remember, you create your own happiness. This is Rainbow Fae signing out.